restarting the Flat Earth Math channel on YouTube. Can I do it? First off, I've got a huge thank you to all my subscribers and all the people who've been watching my videos and commenting. I haven't published really anything about a year, and I do thank you very much for your patience and for your subscriptions. And I hope to get back to publishing regularly. But I would like to say that I'm doing much better than that fellow Conspiracy Cats. Look at this, 11,000 views compared to his 5.8 thousand. I'm doing twice as well as he is. Hopefully he can embrace the power of the space comma and get back on board. All kidding aside, there's different YouTube creator benefit levels, and we've all seen the silver play buttons in the backgrounds of some people's videos. I didn't realize that there were other levels, like Opal, where I am, but they don't send out a play button, so I made myself a play button. But my goal is to get to the silver level, so I only have 97,500 subscribers to go. So in the beginning, I got started with the Flat Earth debate in March 2008. And it was a really interesting experience. A lot of people talking about a lot of different things. They talked about a lot of different topics than we talk about today. And the language even has changed. This was before the debate entered YouTube, because YouTube was kind of in its infancy then. But the language really has changed. So before, Flat Earth folks didn't really have any problem with saying gravity. They called it the downward force or gravity. But today it's all density and buoyancy. In 2008, it was all about bendy light. Like, that's how they explained sunrises and sunsets, and things not appearing where they should appear. So bendy light was definitely a thing, but now they call it perspective. And in 2008, there wasn't really any focus on math. There weren't any equations. There weren't any formulas. It was just, how do you perceive the world, right? How do you perceive the world? Is the Earth flat? Is it a globe? What do you see? But today, we've got lots of formulas, the 8 inches per mile squared, and lots of curve calculators, lots of math in today's debate. And the last one is really important, because in 2008, it was just a bunch of folks who were having fun debating each other. People just agreed to disagree. There was nothing, it was never anything personal about it. It didn't matter which side of the debate you were on. You just kind of enjoyed engaging with the debate. But today, people get accused of being a shill all the time, and there's a lot of acrimony, which is unfortunate. So that's one of the things that I've tried to address in my channel is I try not to have the acrimony. Fast forward to 2015, which is when I kind of discovered or rediscovered the Flat Earth debate on YouTube. 2015 was when Mark Sargent published his Flat Earth Clues. I'm not quite sure when Eric Dubé published his 200 Proofs, because his original channel got taken down. But I did watch all of these videos, and they're pretty fascinating. And there are a lot of clues that the Earth could be flat, and the Earth is in fact not a spinning ball. So. I started listening to Mark Sargent's Strange World show, and I remember him telling a story, and I'm just going to paraphrase it. He was talking to either a scientist or a physicist or some kind of fellow like that, and Mark Sargent asked him, well, how would you prove to me that the Earth is a globe? And the guy said, well, I'd have to just shoot you up on a rocket and have you see for yourself. So that really got me thinking, well, how could we determine the shape of the Earth? Because when you look out at the horizon does look really flat. The Earth does look really, really flat. And curvature is really, really hard to see down here on the ground. So I really started thinking about this, and I spent about 6 months addressing, I was just thinking about Mark Sargent's conversation, and I really took that to heart. And so I kind of came up with, if the Earth is flat, we could see the sun, moon, and stars, right? If the Earth is a globe, we see sun, moon, and stars. But the geometry of these sightings would be fundamentally different. It's fundamentally different to have sun, moon, and stars circling above us versus us living on a rotating planet. And so that's really where I decided to focus my energies. So after 6 months of very, very serious thought and lots of scratch paper and sharpened pencils, I came up with 15 experiments that people could do to determine the shape of the Earth. And these are not experiments in the traditional science fair class or science fair mode where it's like, what's your dependent variable, what's your independent variable, what's your hypothesis. These are just, get outside, make some very careful observations, and then come back in and try to analyze what you saw. But the thing that I wanted to focus on with these explorations is I wanted everyone to be doable regardless of the shape of the Earth. So if the Earth is flat, you could do all 15 of these experiments with no problem. If the Earth is a globe, you can do them with no problem. The key is, what do you carefully observe, and what do you measure? So I did start making these experiment videos, and they're very popular. They do quite well on my channel, but I only made it up to number 7, and then I kind of stalled out. And one reason why I stalled was because the original focus of my channel was that I was going to be super agnostic. Like, I wasn't going to tell anybody which side of the debate I was on. And then I kind of realized over time, especially as I started joining comments and commenting on other people's videos, that I can't really do this agnosticism like so extreme. So that's part of why I stalled out. But one of my goals, now that I'm reinvigorating my channel, one of my goals is to have to do at least 1 month or 1 video per month until the series is done. Because a lot of people have been asking, hey, when are you going to finish this series? So I will get that done this year. But in that time, I've actually recorded a whole ton of other videos. And I spent a lot of time on the equinox observations, and actually came up with 6 different observations that you can do on the equinox. And I detailed them with shorter, less than 10-minute long videos. And I also did something that I'd never done before, and that was actually record my own observations. Because the purpose of my channel was not to tell people what the shape of the Earth was. The purpose was to try to get people to get outside and to explore on their own. But I did actually share some of my results. And then I made a 3-video series on the December solstice, and it's really interesting because there's a lot of observations you can make on the December solstice, but one of them is where does the sun rise? What is the azimuth of sunrise and sunset? Well, if the Earth is flat, you're going to have one azimuth, and if the Earth is a globe, you're going to have a different azimuth. So I really jumped into the math on this, and it was a really interesting challenge. If the Earth is flat, could you compute the sunrise and sunset? And one of the things you need is the sunrise and sunset time, and then you can compute all the math. And I've got the video describes this. And if the Earth is a globe, it's a completely different set of mathematical equations. So, and to this day, I have never seen anybody else do this derivation of literally computing what the predicted azimuth of sunrise and sunset would be on a globe. So that was it was a lot of hard work, but the end result is you plug in your latitude, and you should get one azimuth for flat Earth and another azimuth for globe Earth, and then you go out in the real world and you measure the azimuth yourself, and then you just compare. And I did a similar set of videos for the June solstice observation, along with a results video, which I hope you will enjoy. So there's also more. I was talking about the acrimony earlier, and there's a bunch of different shows, and like I said, sometimes the shows get all shouty, and sometimes it's a civil discussion, but the civil discussions are usually few and far between. So I decided to create a series of videos, or a series of conversations called Flat Earth Civil Discourse, where the goal was for me to have a conversation with a flat earther. And I wasn't always successful. Sometimes I had a globe earther, sometimes I had a panel, that wasn't really the goal. But for most of these conversations, I spent an hour with a globe earth person, and we had a nice conversation. And there was one time where it got a little heated, and it was not a civil discourse. But that was one 10-minute segment in one of these conversations. But I think for the most part, I've done pretty well. And so now that I'm reinvigorating my channel, I would like to have at least one live chat per month. And again, the goal is not for me to be in an echo chamber with a bunch of globers all talking to each other about how stupid other people are. The goal is for me to sit down with a flat Earth person and have a conversation. So, do you believe the Earth is flat, and would you like to chat about it with a friendly, non-shouty glober? So you could contact me in the comments below. And there's more. So the final thing I want to say about reinvigorating my channel is I want to publish at least one video per week, and it won't necessarily be a big video because I do not have a lot of time, but I do want to publish at least something every week, one video per week or more as time and responsibilities permit. Because I am a full-time math teacher, although I am approaching my summer vacation. I got about 3 more weeks of school, so I'll have some time this summer. But I am a full-time math teacher. I'm very much involved with my church. I'm a Sunday school teacher, and I've got 4 crazy kids, and I'm also helping my mom move into a senior living community. So that's it. I'm gonna try to reinvigorate my channel, and I do appreciate your patience. If you'd like to support me, I do have subscriptions that I'll talk about in a moment. And the next set of videos, and they're going to be just real short little videos, will be on the Foucault pendulum. Most of the time I try to encourage people to get outside and observe the sun, moon, and stars, but this is a very interesting exploration that you can do, and it's there's a lot of different videos on this stuff, and some people get it wrong, some people just simply misunderstand what's going on, and there's also the accusations that science museums have electromagnetic devices in them, and oh my goodness, they're just faking it. So the first video is going to be, what's the math of the Foucault pendulum, because I didn't understand it at first. And then I'm going to teach people in the next video how to make one yourself, so you can't accuse anybody of cheating because you're making it yourself. And then finally I'll have a video of my informal results. So if you would like to support this channel, support my family, please consider becoming a patron of mine on Patreon, or have a subscription on Subscribestar. And I do sincerely appreciate all that you've done for me and my family and all your kindness. Thank you. Bye-bye.